For university students, this test has been used worldwide. In fact, this has been used in the latest convention, Asia Pacific Convention, just to see the personality of the people, delegates who come to the convention. So meaning to say this is worldwide proven test. So this is very exciting to see what is you now and what to improve in order to achieve your career goal. First, what you need to do, see your graph, see which one is the highest. Just see which one is the highest and which one is the low point in your graph. Whether it's dove, owl, peacock or eagle. Right. Now let's see. Please raise up your hand. Who has the highest dove? Dove. Who are the dove people here? Okay. What does it mean to you being a dove? Dove usually represents a compassionate and peaceful dove. True or not? Dove, and usually dove is people-oriented. They are very loyal. It's good if you have boyfriend or girlfriend with this high in dove, because they can be with you forever. Even though at some point, they are very friendly, hardworking. If you ask them to do any task, they will do it for you. No problem, man. And a great team player. They are very supportive, being a dove. But on top of that, dove tends to avoid changes. In an organization, usually dove is very good in doing something that have no changes. Things like accounting, things like admins, they are HR, no changes. No major changes in the system. They tend to avoid confrontation. Tak suka gaduh punya orang. You kalau discussion, kalau orang semua tengah bising-bising, this dove usually duduk diam saja. Oh, okay, you buatlah. Okay. Risk taking, very risk averse. What I think about risk averse is they want to take risk. Usually, let's say, they will not go for sales job, usually done. People will have high dove and assertiveness. Owl. Who have the high point in owl? Please raise up your hand. Wow, these are all very calculative person punya. Ini semua paling squad kira-kira punya. Paling kedekut ini orang lah. Okay, somehow they are the wise owl. Owl are very smart, Usually an organization, they need a very good owl. Research analysts must have this owl. What else do you need owl? Other career than finance? Give them an answer. Project manager also, somehow they need a very good owl. Owl is very good in terms of details. If you see their locker room, you can see very detailed. They actually susun baju, usually diorang ni pengemas sikit. Betul Betul, owl people? You don't like all the messy thing, true or not? The owl is logical, mathematically minded. You are very good in numbers, trust me. Methodological and sometimes seen as perfectionist. Meaning to say, when you want to do something, you make sure everything is in order. For instance, you want to go for a travel, a trip, you have to make sure your bros gigi dah bawa, your ubat gigi semua sudah beli, everything got checklist one. True or not? This is owl, unlike other which I will share later lah. But somehow, ladies and gentlemen, being an owl, you cannot run away with some things, weaknesses. Owl can be very slow. Decision making very slow. I tell you, if let's say you have a very owl CEO, you can decide. You see, not saying CEO lah. You see chess, chess game. You watch Astro, a sports channel. Have you ever seen chess has been played live on Astro? Never, right? Why? Because if you sleep, then you sleep 3 hours later, you wake up, you still see that competition running without running any chess. No movement. Oh, still that one. Oh, I cannot move here, cannot, here, can, oh, cannot. This is out. Because there's a lot of things, they do lots of thinking. In the end, I don't know how to decide. So sometimes can be and inflexible if rules and says logic otherwise. I tell you, in Kampar itself, there's a lot of traffic light, true or not? And in Kampar, what is actually I can see in the hill? What are the biggest thing you can see? Far away also can see. Dekat luar tu, atas bukit ada apa? Kubur, betul. Kubur, besar punya kubur. I tengok, I still remember every time I lalu Kampar is a kubur area. I also don't know why. Very besar one. So 2 o'clock in the morning, suddenly the system down. You don't know. You are parked driving 2 o'clock in the morning. System down. The traffic light will not go green. Just go red. You are stopping in front of the traffic light besides the kubur. What will you do if no car? If no car, what will you do? Langgar, not langgar. Langgar. But if out, no langgar one. Stay mana? Dah dengar bunyi. You know, never mind, it's red lah. Red, I cannot. Logic says you should go, you know, true or not? But somehow rules cannot say that you cannot go if the light turns red. So, owls tend to, I cannot go. What will happen? Kena saman nanti apa jadi? This is owl. Next, the third bird. What is the third bird? Peacock. Who has the peacock? Let me see. Walao, no wonder lah. Peacock. Again, I want to see peacock. Yeah, sure, all this. Because, you see, what the thing about peacock? Peacock. The showy peacock. Peacock love to talk. True or not? Very talkative one. Being center of attention is the ultimate goal. You see, if let's say I ask each of these peacock to come on here in front, they will speak to you, no problem one. But let's say if you ask a dove to come in front, then she will. But if ask peacock to come, surely can. They will be the one that will seem very active in classes. They are very good in terms of sales area. They can be very good in terms of marketing career. They can be very good during meetings. They are very outspoken. These are peacock. And they are also happy, have passion, and happy and optimistic. I rarely find peacock who actually never actually have a very good smile. Usually peacock have very this kind of smile lah. Usually peacock. Okay. Then in this class also I can see people who actually participative most is actually people who raise their hand because of peacock. Because they tend to talk a lot. And they have their own weaknesses. Peacock can be accused of talking too much. Surely not punctual one. Peacock is not a punctual person. True or not? If let's say your friend is a peacock, 11 o'clock you janji dengan dia, 11:30 pun belum tentu datang, you know. Sometimes you come, you dalam bilik pun you dah jumpa ini you punya kawan, housemate, every day, tidur pun every night sama-sama. Peacock will always talk, have something to talk. Oh, 11 o'clock I have date already. Main laptop. 11:30, oh, baru mau jalan. This is peacock. And then they are good with detail or time control. They are not good. You see, peacock usually is a very messy person. I know lah, I'm a peacock. Sometimes you tend to talk lots of things. Sometimes you actually, it's hard for you to come back to the real objective. Sometimes, if let's say I talk to my wife, sometimes my wife say, you talk too much lah, come now, stop lah. You see, I've seen some more extreme peacock. They talk to me. I'm also a peacock, but I tend to run away. He's still talking. This is peacock. Okay, next, eagle. I want to see who's eagle here. Eagle. Oh, eagle. Eagle is the bold eagle, the blunt eagle, the degil eagle, the bossy eagle. Oh, that's why rather than betul-betul dia orang very bossy. Eagle are dominant, stimulated by changes, decisive and direct. They have no problem being direct. True or not? True, being an eagle. If let's say you face this eagle, they give real comment to you. They don't care about your feeling, but they give the truth to you. That's one good criteria about eagle. They are very dominant. If they decide in the organization, if they decide, they will stick to the decision. While dumb, what will do, if let's say this dominant make decision, yes, you're true, I'll follow you. Then another dominant make another decision, yes, you are also true, I follow you. They're a follower. Tapi dominant is always like this one. But sometimes dominant can be very strong-headed juga. On top of that, can be blunt, stubborn, can lose sight of big picture because they are very focused on the things that they do. And on top of that, can be sensitive to other people's feeling. Sometimes being too dominant also, you need to control in terms of your feeling, what you have to say to people. Okay, on top of that, let me share to myself, to you, that I personally have high dominance level juga. So my boss always told me that you are quite strong-headed. When it comes to meeting, then I always like, you know, my opinion is great, my opinion. So he said, but he actually gave one good advice to me. Why not you, in a meeting or in a discussion, instead of fighting for your opinion, just try to actually use more why or what if questions. Instead of actually you say, you are wrong, but why do you say that? I mean, this is actually the approach. In a way, everything, each of the character, each of the profile, it's not about being weakness, it's a weak point. You are not dumb, not high in dumb doesn't mean that you are not as peaceful as dumb. But your approach can be improved in order for you to increase your personality and level of integrity. So, ladies and gentlemen, guys, out of these 4 bird profile, what do you think is the best profile? Dove, eagle, peacock, or owl? Which one is the best? Obviously, peacock, we say peacock lah. Okay, basically, everything is the same. And in the organization, we need all this kind of people with different kind of bird profile. Because you guys complement each other. Some people think that because that I don't actually really talk in a meeting, I don't really give my opinion in a meeting, and people actually think that they don't want to actually be friend in the organization with me, doesn't mean that he is not important with the organization. True or not? So, if let's say, if you see, some people are not given the major role in the organization, but they also play an important role. If you want to, if I want to show to you, I will show you one simple video to actually support my statement. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. So, now you see, Okay. Next. Do you have one thing? This is the main question. Let's say you want to work in a capital market. Some of you might attracted to it, and actually willing to take actions to actually go to work all out in this industry. But do you have what it takes? Now, ladies and gentlemen, usually as a fresh graduate, interviewer usually have some problems with fresh graduates. What areas actually are gaps are lacking in the fresh graduates? Among the skills that are actually lacking, what are the skills? For instance, any skill that you think lacking for fresh graduate? Usually someone that ramai orang have actually tell us lah. What are the skills? Communication skills? Lagi? Leadership skills? Lagi? Any skills?
Promoting skill.
Dribbling skills? No, this is football. Huh? There's a lot. Okay. According to our CMTS is now conducted by SLC to 117 companies. These are the skill gaps. The most crucial gaps for the fresh graduate, they are lacking is in communication skills, 81%. Right? Being an effective communicator. In an interview, usually graduates fail to answer questions effectively and accurately. So this is the angle that you need to cover. Especially when you are working in a multinational company where English is the proficiency language. Then you need to polish up your English. Unless you work in a Chinese-based company, then you can speak in your Mandarin language, no problem. Even as a Malay, if let's say we work in a Malay company, it's okay to speak in Bahasa. But somehow when we go to multinational company, especially investment banks, you need to polish up your English. This is the utmost important, no doubt. This is the language that has actually been the lingua franca in the organization, in the country at the moment. Second, critical thinking, 80%. What is critical thinking? Critical thinking, ladies and gentlemen, is actually the ability to analyze one problems and actually to see from various angles. Some issues, especially, I see one simple issue. You guys, selalu semua, let's say you pernah ada boyfriend ataupun pernah ada girlfriend. Sometimes you tend to not to understand your girlfriend. So your girlfriend marah, marah she. And then perempuan bila dia marah, they tend to actually stop all the crappy thing, no? True, no? Leave me alone lah. I don't want to see you anymore. Don't call me. Then after 2 days, if you don't call, then why you don't call me? But usually lelaki also quite funny. So don't call me. Then call another 100 times. Oh, sorry. They say don't call, then don't call lah. You see, you need to see in another angle why she doesn't want to call and whatnot. True or not, ladies? So this is actually the ability. This is actually some sort of critical thinking that I'm saying about. Or don't bring me to the kedai makan mahal-mahal lah. Don't belanja me lah. You see, in the critical thinking, she wants to be belanja one, surely. Buy her some food lah. Good one, McDonald's lah. Ataupun pergi GKH lah. Makan dekat Rodina, Grand Kampak. For my birthday, I don't want anything. Don't buy me present. If let's say you just look at the statement, no critical thinking. Oh, okay lah, no present. Then on that particular birthday, then why you don't buy present? Oh, you told me you don't have to buy present, Oh, this is critical thinking lah. What I'm trying to say, Okay, next, business acumen. Ladies and gentlemen, what is business acumen? It's the ability for you to work at an organization and see the organization process as a whole and to actually identify which area that actually can bring extra revenues to the organization, such as bringing more profit or saving cost and time for other operations. For instance, I tell you about organization MAS. This is actually one thing that I see. You guys pernah naik kapal terbang MAS? Pernah naik? Have you ever go to MAS? AirAsia? Yes, AirAsia. Okay. Usually when you talk about the meal, MAS and AirAsia, what are the difference between MAS meal dengan AirAsia meal?
Low cost.
One simple thing is that the menu is something lah. But one simple thing, in AirAsia you can pre-order your meal, true or not? You can actually choose whatever you want to eat and you can choose not to eat also, right? But in MAS, they only give you the food in the flight. Seems like 2 options. Here, so you see, what is actually among the most well-known breakfast in the country? Usually nasi lemak. Then other than nasi lemak, roti canai. Roti canai? Wonton mee, true, wonton mee. Yeah, I always have wonton mee for breakfast. Lagi? Chicken rice for breakfast lah? Oh, okay lah, chicken rice for breakfast. I never heard that, but that's new. Okay, lagi? Curry mee for breakfast, okay. Now, curry mee okay. Chicken rice, I don't know. Okay, lagi? Okay lah, these are all the, but you say nasi lemak with chana and whatnot. Okay, you see, business acumen, I'm talking about business acumen. I went to Cebu, just now I visited Cebu. There's a lot of experience I made with all this Chinese tycoon, timber tycoon. One of them is actually, asked me, how about MAS? What's the performance? So I said, I think it should be okay lah. I mean, even though it's at 30 cents, I mean, you can, if you want to buy, you buy lah. I don't know, because we are regulators, we cannot give tips, you know. This is issues with us, the Securities Commission. So he, on top of that, he gives some good comments. If they can improve their operation, especially in mill itself, they can save lots of money. Because he is one of the shareholders. How? Because then I see, oh betul juga. Because I went to Cebu by MAS, return ticket. Then bila I naik, dia bagi I 2 menus. Encik mau nasi lemak atau mie? You will choose nasi lemak or mie? Nasi lemak. Everybody will choose nasi lemak, right? Obvious option. If I don't answer, so just pass me nasi lemak, so I'll eat, no problem. So, what happened? Now, I was lucky, because I'm sitting, some front seats lah, not the business class, but front seat lah. Then I take my nasi lemak. But is there any possibilities that after some time, then they will say, sorry, Cik. Then the other passenger also will order nasi lemak and nasi lemak. But towards the end of the seats, is there any possibility that say, sorry Cik, there's no more nasi lemak? Ada possibility lah. Then what happened? Then they will give all mee goreng one. Even though I never eat mee in my life, mee goreng for breakfast, I have to take the mee goreng. And what another thing that will happen? Do you think that they can actually perfectly measure the numbers of orders? Or perhaps they will do some wastage in that? There will be such waste, betul lah? Let's say kalau kata mee goreng, after the end of the day, they might have another extra 10 mee goreng. So who will actually eat that mee goreng? Toilet lah. Bring to toilet and flush lah. So this is a wastage, true or not? So what she said that if MAS passenger, even though it's free, can do a pre-order first before they went up to the flight, it will be much. It will save lots of operational costs. Let's say one mee goreng is 5 ringgit. One flight, 10 mee goreng wasted. So how many ringgit? 50 ringgit. There's 7 flights to Cebu every day, MAS. So how many ringgit now? 350. So 350 per day. And this is only to Cebu. There are 439 flights every day throughout the world using KLIA, from KLIA itself, using MAS. So you just imagine what ringgit come? Thousands, right? So you just imagine, this is only for 1 day. For 1 year, they can save how many? So if you can come out of this kind of idea in your organization, it shows that you have a very good business acumen skills. This is what I'm trying to say. Ladies and gentlemen? Next, interpersonal. You need to be very sharp, very smart. You cannot wear things like that you wear in universities. In interviews especially. You need to look good, and especially the word is sharp. Let's say if you go, there's one Chinese motivator by the name of Eve. She's the speaker on interview and grooming class. So I went to the interview, to the seminar, and obviously I get lots of comment. Most of them are not very good comment lah. They ask me to diet and things like that lah. So, but somehow one of the main comment they say, fresh graduates, they tend to have this kind of funny hair. It's so stylish, We are singing K-pop lah. We are so stylish. We are going Running Man lah. But somehow, in organization, if you want to be professional, you have to learn how to look professional. And I tell you what, you will not regret by learning how to look professional, because this is how you should look like. Not many people say, once you go to from university level, I know, during university level, I also belajar, all the koyak-koyak one, the rock one lah. But once kena kerja, then I have to buy all the good shirts. And take your time to actually just Google up the fashion for corporate attire. That's all. This is interpersonal. And we have some cases, they have a very high result, 3.7 CGPA, but they were rejected. Not she. He was rejected within 2 minutes in the interview. Why? Why? Guess grooming, but why? Why 2 minutes? Bad body odor. Pergi interview tak pakai deodorant punya orang. 3.8 CGPA. Cancel. Because the interviewer tell me, I cannot tahan lah. In the room. Then this is actually betul no, real case no. So students, please take note on this. Okay, next, attitude and commitment. Being a fresh graduate, please. And what I'm saying about attitude and commitment is not being punctual, just do all the job. But somehow at your level, entry level, you'll be a junior executive usually. True or not? True, junior executive. But somehow, please take this opportunity. Attitude and commitment shows that at any level, you can actually be, show some leadership qualities, show some qualities, even though at managerial level. When you say you can actually propose something to your manager, you can actually act as your manager and whatnot. When you say at your level, you can actually influence lots of people in your organization. This is what attitude and commitment that we are looking for. Okay, so this is a critical skill requirement for business school for capital market, business acumen, leadership, interpersonal, and technical. And technical skills will be, these are the technical skills required if you want to excel, especially for those who want to work in the back end, fund managers and research analysts and whatnot. These are the technical skills: financial modeling, structuring, corporate finance, risk management, technical analysis, research method and analysis, fund management, and fund management investment analysis. Alright, now let's go keluar sikit daripada topik. Let's say you want to go for interview. Lepas ni you will be going for interview. Say, worst come to worst, you're going to be rejected for your first interview. Then you go for the second interview. Again, you're going to be rejected. Third, reject. Fourth time, reject. Fifth time, reject. 10 times also, no one wants you. What will you feel? What will you feel? 10 time interview, 10 time cannot work. Give up. You? No second interview. That's you. Give up. I tell you, don't give up. I give you one simple tips. You want to know? The 11th interview that you go, 100% I guarantee you will be selected. How? Use this method.
What makes you think you qualify for this job?
Stop punching me! Please!
So who you think out of these 4 profiles tadi kita belajar, dope test tadi, which character that you think the guy yang buat all this messy? Peacock. So find a good peacock friend. Okay, that's all. That's the tip. Okay. So now this is the final chapter. Is the capital market right for you? Okay, let's say in capital market, this is what our former chairman have told. Our rapid expansion of our capital market will require more professionals and fresh graduates from any kind of courses, no problem, any kind of field. We actually want you to actually join the market. So next, Badlisha Al-Ghani is actually the executive director and CEO of CIMB Islamic Bank. He said that the 3 most important is networking, technical, and communication. That's all. Networking, just how do you network with your friends. Technical is simple. In capital market, it's a rapid growth and no A and B, B and C. It's not like studying medic, the heart is always like that shape. If let's say 100 years ago, that shape, this year the heart is also that shape. Tangan is like that tangan. Tak ada tukarnya. Kalau demam, demam macam itulah. Badan panas. Tak pernah I dengar lagi demam 2 Celsius is demam. Tak ada. Demam mesti panas. But this one there's a lot of rapid changes. So in a way, technical skills you always can figure out. No matter whether you have 0 skills or not. Trust me. Next. To succeed a career in the capital market, you must be mentally prepared for life in the fast lane and be ready to learn at a very intense pace. You need to know the product as soon as possible and you need to study a lot as possible. And there's a lot of things you need to study. It's more like conceptualization. But it's a very interesting thing. As you see, the most richest person in Malaysia, top 10 of them are actually shareholders. True or not? I mean, Robert Koch is shareholders of all the gula-gula. And then the son of the late Lim Gotong, what's his name? Lim? He's number 4 at the moment. Number 5 at the moment. So he's also the major shareholder of Genting. On top of that, there's Ananda Krishna and whatnot. So these are actually feel for all the rich and rags. Okay.